So that's their mind frame. 8 years or 100,000 miles is the warranty on the battery. They don't expect you to do 100,000 miles in a year.
Right. So you basically put 8 years in 1 year.
Lots of calls from people who moved from gasoline cars just because they have seen this on your channel. And they have gone ahead and bought Teslas.
I think you have a ride share right now. This guy's popular.
Honest truth, now that I have done this change, I don't actually think I can drive a gasoline car again. I don't.
A little over a year ago, we introduced you to our friend Dobson after he swapped his Camry for a Tesla. He drives for Uber full-time, 6 days a week, logging over 100,000 miles a year.
Going with regular gas is even much more expensive than keeping this.
Doing the math, Dobson realized he was paying more for his Camry's nearly daily fill-ups and bi-weekly oil changes than buying a used Standard Range Plus Model 3, which at the peak of the car market last summer cost him over $50,000.
I hate to say this, but you can't drive this and want to drive a Camry.
Yeah.
You know,
it's true.
You can't drive this and want to drive a Camry. The difference is night and day.
In roughly 12 months, he put his Tesla to the ultimate test, driving 300 miles a day with 2 supercharging stops each day, often charging only to 90 or 95%. But just recently, after crossing 125,000 miles on the odometer, his nearly $10,000 in gas and maintenance savings came to a heartbreaking end. Tell us what's going on with your Model 3.
Man.
Or what's not going on. Thanks to Anchor Solix for sponsoring this portion of the video. So we live in a part of the country where extreme weather is really common, especially as we head into winter. And if you guys have been following us for a while, you know that we like to get outside and go on our adventures. The Anchor Solix F2000 is the perfect combination of size and power. It has an output of 2,400 watts and 12 ports, including 4 AC ports, a TT30 RV port, so it can power almost any appliance in your RV. It also has 3 USB-C and 2 USB-A ports, 2 car outlets, and a powerful built-in light bar. The battery pack inside is actually EV grade that'll remain healthy for 3,000 charge cycles and 10 years of everyday use. I love having access to over 2,000 watt hours of energy and having something like this that's extremely portable with wheels and a retractable handle. It also charges extremely fast, going from 0 to 80% in just 1 hour, and it just looks and feels premium with a unibody drop-proof design that's impact resistant too. To get yours, check out the link in the description below, and let's get back to the video.
You know, I'd always said, if you, like you said, if you go through the videos prior, I've always said that, look, I was just going to test the Tesla to see how it would hold up. But I want to keep it real with everyone. To be fair, it's a wonderful drive. You know, you drive it and it's light years away from just driving a gasoline car. I don't know if you could help me with that.
In our previous video, and after 90,000 miles, even with his rigorous daily needs, his Model 3 only showed a degradation of roughly 11%. But shortly after crossing 110,000 miles, he began to see a significant drop in his range.
All of a sudden, you know, it just started to dip. You know, I think the last time I talked with PJ about it, it had dipped to like 170, 180 at 100%, you know. And so I had I thought about it, that, oh, do I have to like change the battery and all of that. Now, the cost of changing the battery that I had investigated was between 12 and 15 G's. So I just thought, talking with PJ and all, I was like, well, if he's still giving me like 170, 175, you know, I could just go ahead and use that, just be mindful of it.
And you were still supercharging twice a day?
Yes.
And to about 90% is what you were saying in the last video?
But at this point that it had gotten to that level, I had to now start to get to like 100 and just drive. Because I was saying to myself that, okay, well, if I was going to charge 100, I was going to drive immediately, you know. So once or twice I'll charge 200. The other time now and again I'll leave it at 90%, you know, just to try to get maximum utilization from it. You know, another thing, I sent a service request to Tesla when I noticed that the battery was dropping. What they responded back to me is, oh, it is to be expected, right? That because, you know, that every year or from usage, it drops, its performance will drop, right? Now, that for me, I mean, I didn't think it was going to drop that rapidly, right? I knew it was going to drop a bit, but I didn't think it was going to be that rapid. Now, so they did say that to me.
And how many miles did you have on it when you started noticing these rapid declines?
It was over 100,000. It was over 100,000. You know, I know that by the time it went in, it was like 100 and it was almost 120.
And you were supercharging twice a day?
Twice a day.
Twice a
and
day,
then I was
6 days a
still
week.
going to charge at home. I was still going to charge at home. I started off charging at home with the regular Tesla car charger, right?
Yeah.
You know, and then when I go out, I'd supercharge, you know, twice. Now, but the funny thing is, the morning I went to charge it, I charged and it still gave me 170. Then I go back for the second charge and I charge it and it's giving me 35 miles. It wouldn't go past that, you know. So I'm like wondering what's happening. It's not like, you know, like if it was a gasoline car, you would have you would see the gradual decline. Maybe it would pot, and then it would stop. This was still smoothless. So I didn't see no reason why I could charge 170 in the morning and then in the evening, I get there in the evening to charge and I'm only getting 35. So, and then I was getting the notification.
Just 35 miles.
35 miles. And I was getting notification from Tesla that, oh, you need to bring it in so that we can have a look at it and all of that. Now that for me, which is what I want people to be aware of, that for me I think was kind of funny. You know, I think that off the top of my head, I think they programmed it to do that. You know, maybe by their evaluation to save the battery or whatever. But I think.
Or is it enough miles to drive to a service center to be able to
have them look at it?
Have them look at it.
You know, so I think they did that. I don't think that the battery just declined in a couple of hours from 170 to 35. You know, and don't forget they had said to me at my initial request that, oh, it was regular wear and tear.
Yeah.
So in a couple of weeks or whatever, you're now telling me, oh, bring it in. And the initial notification they sent to me when they said bring it in and all of that, they sent me like a cost of 1,000 or something. I'm like, okay, that doesn't look too bad. If you're trying to fix my battery for like 1,000, that's fine. So I take it in.
And at this point, you're out of warranty. You've gone over the amount of miles you can do, so you don't have the option of having the battery covered under warranty.
So I take it in, and then they have a look at it, and then they send me a message. First of all, they tell me all this, oh, you're out of warranty and all of that. And so there's nothing we can do. We can't even give you a loan now because you're out of warranty, so you'd have to just make do yourself with whatever it is. So I'm like, okay, that's fine, but just get it fixed. Because I was still thinking it was going to be like 1,000, like they had said. The next thing, they sent me another text message after I had dropped it, saying, well, we have looked at your battery, you know, it's going to cost you now about $9,000 to have the battery. I'm stuck. I have the car in their facility. There's no other service provider that can look at it and, you know, give me another battery or whatever. So, I mean, I'm stuck with Tesla. So they're like 9 Gs. And then I look at it and my car note on it, because I was like immediately just infuriated by that. I wanted to like just trade it in and be like, hey, you know what? But my car note on it is still over 40 Gs. You can walk in.
Unfortunately, you bought it right when.
Just before
all these different price cuts that have happened. So now your price, what you owe is essentially.
Could buy you a brand new car and still give you some change.
Yeah.
You feel me?
The prices have gotten so low. So I'm sure that's so frustrating.
Totally. I tried to talk to the service manager or whoever he was, you know, that was releasing the car to me. I said, what could have happened to my battery? You know, I want to guide against whatever it is. And he said to me, listen, this is a 2019 car. So that means that battery's been there for 4 years. And in that period, that just imagine in this, because remember, for a year that I had it, I put over 100,000 miles on it. He's like, in this 1 year period, you have put over 100,000 miles on a 4-year-old battery. What do you think would happen? That it's like your phone. It's like your phone battery. If you put that kind of usage on your phone battery, it's definitely going to affect it.
Yeah.
So there and then I'm like, he has a point, but that then defeats my purpose of getting the car. Because I'm getting the car to say, I want to put this and make sure that I get good value for my money, you know, different from if I was using a gasoline car, you know. So I think, having looked at all of this, I think that Tesla wasn't prepared to have its car used for rideshare.
Okay. Interestingly enough, in the last few months, Tesla released a new feature on its website called Help Me Choose, where it explicitly asks how many miles per day you plan on driving and if you plan on using it for ride sharing. Now, do you think if you had had a long-range vehicle, perhaps the outcome would have been different?
I think the outcome would have been the same, because it's the miles you put on the battery. It's not how much miles the battery has. There's not the capacity of the battery itself. It's the wear and tear that comes on the battery from constant use.
Do you think it's the miles, though, or the frequent supercharging at high voltage?
Well, the supercharging, from what I understand, the Tesla's done a survey, right, that says that the battery is not affected by the fact that it has to be supercharged that often. What Dobson is referring to is a recent Tesla study from its annual impact report highlighting that batteries in the Model S and X were showing only 12% degradation after 200,000 miles. But as some commenters wisely noted, none of these studies tackled battery failure from frequent supercharging, but always battery degradation. But as Dobson said earlier, there wasn't a slow degradation, but more of a sudden death. The things that could affect it is, well, the supercharger, you're charging too often, because you're charging like twice a day. Maybe the batteries are not equipped for that. Yeah. I even hear now of their Tesla saying, if you come in, they would ask you first now that, do you buying this car for your personal use or for rideshare? They do. So there's a survey online. Exactly. So that means they have come to recognize that maybe the first fleet that they had out is not ideal for rideshare. The batteries won't cope unless you have, not with me. You all know the amount of driving I do. Yeah. Right. So when I say I was going to put it to test, I was actually really going to put it to test. Yeah. And from what I see, it still leaves a lot to be desired. Tesla has to go back now and to be fair to them. I think when they made the cars, they were not made for rideshare. They weren't thinking about people like me that's going to do 5,000 miles in 2 weeks. Mm-hmm. Some people don't do 5,000 miles in 2 months. I'm curious, though, if there are other people out there watching this video, or if you guys can share it with other people that do drive your Teslas like Dobson, and what your experience has been. Have you had to replace a battery? How much did that cost you? And let us know in the comments below. I'd like to start this conversation up. So it's really interesting. It definitely is a true test. Unfortunately, you are kind of the test case, and it's been really unfortunate for you because I know that we had talked before. You were, it was about $900, I think, a month. Yeah. That you still owe. Yeah. On this card, but now you're having to use your other vehicles for rideshare, pay for gas on top of everything else. So you're kind of at this loss right now. So Dobson has no clue that I'm doing this, but I wanted to create a GoFundMe for him to help pay for the cost that he had to spend replacing his battery, possibly even get him a new Model 3. So not a day goes by where we don't get another comment of people asking for an update with Dobson. I think his videos have been really valuable to the community to see what happens if you put all these miles on a Tesla and you supercharge twice a day. So we will continue to go on with updates with him, but I would love it if on your way out, you can check out the description below, click on the GoFundMe, give him $1 or $2. It will all add up and hopefully go back to help him out. Thanks again. So for me now, I can't use it for my everyday to-day Uber kind of trips. I can only use it for my corporate trips. So if I don't have a corporate ride, you're just going to let it stay, I would still say, is it a good car? Yes, it is. Does it drive smooth? Yes, it does. Can you own a Tesla for your personal things? Yes, you can. The old fleet, except they're coming out with new batteries right now. Yeah. But if you're saying it's the same configuration that they've had from inception that they still have, you need to be careful if you're doing rideshare. Today, Dobson has returned to driving his Camry for his ride-sharing needs, only driving the Model 3 a handful of times a week and now only charging to 80%. After you had your battery replaced, did they give you instructions to only charge it to 80%, or is that just something that you're doing on your own? Oh, no. When I got the car first, it was on the 80% charging thing. And then I got messages from them, even on my screen, I think. I have got messages from them saying to elongate this battery life and to get better performance from it, only charge up to 80%. I am, what would I say? I am actually scared out of my whatevers, scared out of my wheat, because I just paid 9 G's.
Yeah.
If you tell me to hop and jump and make sure that's what would keep the battery going, I will do that. I wouldn't even ask you why, you know, right now. So since they're saying that, I have gone by that.
So what would you have done anything different, or would you just not have purchased a Tesla to use for rideshare at this point? Like, what can you tell other people considering it?
Well, you know, to be honest, right, if I know what I know now, right, maybe I'd have done it differently. And I could have bought it and just used it for my corporate clients. My corporate clients want to use me. They want to recommend me to other people because I'm pulling up in a Tesla and not a Camry. So that, on the one hand, is good, right? However, I would not have used it for all and sundry.
Yeah.
Right. And the only reason one uses it for all and sundry is in comparison to the gas prices. That, oh, it will save you, you know. But I think there needs to be that caveat. That, listen, yes, we know it would save you gas price, but we're talking about long term. Perfect example. Tesla says to you, 8 years. So that's their mind frame. 8 years or 100,000 miles is the warranty on the battery. They don't expect you to do 100,000 miles in a year.
Right. So you basically put 8 years in 1 year. Yeah.
Which is going to happen to most rideshare people.
Right.
So they have to, every rideshare driver right now who's out there, you need to start to say to yourself, what's my fallback? You know, because if you drive like I drive, right, and you're doing this amount on your battery, you are going to obviously still fall into the same thing that I fell into. So you have to now start to have a hybrid, right, and say to yourself, and it's if you don't have your gasoline cars anymore because you drop them because you have the Tesla, you might have to start to rethink that, you know, or else you're going to get saddled as well with the same situation that I've had. Because like I rightly said, the batteries are expected to go, the warranty is for 8 years and 100,000 miles. So if you're putting 100,000 miles on your battery in a year or max 2, right, you're going to start to think about changing it. And the cost of changing the battery is not cheap. You know, I even reckon that it's come lower because the price of the cars have dropped, you know, because basically if you think about it, the battery is the car. It's the whole engine. It doesn't have an engine. That's what powers the car. It's the battery.
Yeah.
You know, so you're talking about, it's almost like you're going to buy a complete engine for a regular gasoline car. Once we start to think about it like that, we start to have a better understanding of why the battery costs that much.
Yeah. And I wonder, though, if you had a long-range car and it would have, like, made it through your day every day and you just charged it from home, you know, charging it at the high voltage superchargers, it would have been a different outcome because,
possibly,
you know, there is that study that everyone's looking at right now where they took a bunch of Teslas, followed them, and they said the battery degradation from charging was really insignificant. The study does leave room for lots of questions, though it has a compelling title that could lead to assumptions. But what you're doing is a completely different study. And what they really should look at, what they really need to look at is people that do rideshare and how often they're charging and what happens to their batteries. So kind of like we're, you know, case one right now, but hopefully again, we share this video, we get this conversation going. What do you think that, do you think Tesla, they should do right at this point?
I think more than anything, because when you make situations about you, right, it doesn't get the desired result. And I'm not out there to try to say, hey, Tesla, come compensate me. It's not about me. When we started out making these videos, we just wanted people out there to really know the advantages of moving from a gasoline car to a Tesla. We didn't get paid for it. Tesla never came up to us any day to say, oh yeah, good adverts that you have out there for us, you know, we want to do this for you and all of that. And that was, even if they did that, that was not our goal, but that never really happened. So if we're doing this now and I'm saying, oh yeah, Tesla needs to come compensate me, no. You know, what I want Tesla to really look at is the rideshare community that has shifted. I've got lots of calls from people who have moved from gasoline cars just because they have seen this on your channel. And they have gone ahead and bought Teslas.
I think you have a rideshare right now. This guy's popular.
You know, so that's the thing. So for reasons of that, I think Tesla needs to do right. You know, and I think that they need to also come out. You know, no one's saying that you have done something wrong, because you aren't expecting rideshare drivers to come use the car and then whip it like we have done. So all we're saying now is, listen, be mindful of the fact that this has happened. And if someone brings in their car and says, hey, my battery is gone, I've done 100,000, and you find out that he's a rideshare driver, if you have reconfigured your batteries to be able to take that, then when you're doing his battery replacement, replace it with the new configured batteries.
So that's the second part I wanted to get into. When they actually replaced your battery, they put it's a refurbished battery.
I believe that's what it is, because it's not even giving me...
Did they tell you that straight out?
No, they didn't.
Turns out, from those who have had the misfortune of replacing their high voltage batteries, they've learned that Tesla does replace them with refurbished batteries that are expected to offer the same performance and range as a Tesla with similar miles to when their battery pack failed. So that's the second part I wanted to get into. When they actually replaced your battery, they put it's a refurbished battery.
I believe that's what it is, because it's not even giving me...
Did they tell you that straight out?
No, they didn't. I feel so, because now they're asking me to bring the same car back in for service because of the battery power.
So is there any kind of warranty that you get on this second battery now that you had to spend $9,000 of your own money on?
I did ask them that, and all they said to me was, what we can give to you is 1 year. I thought, listen, you're giving me a new battery. Supposedly, that's how you know that is definitely not a new battery. Another reason I know it's not a new battery, why I think it's the old battery that was refurbished, was, like I said at the beginning, I think that they shut that battery down. I think they have the ability to do that, right? And they did that to preserve the battery. Not really necessarily out of the fact that the battery was that bad.
Yeah.
So they cut it, they shut it down, so you bring it in, and then they can refurbish it. Refurbishing for them at that point is cheaper, and the battery life is preserved. Now, they most probably have done that, and then they're seeing that it's still not giving me the desired...
So what do you get right now? If you charge it to 100, what are you seeing?
I haven't done it up to 100.
So we did drag the charge tab from 80 over to 100%, and the car showed an estimated range of 207 miles. That's a 14% decline from where a Tesla with an identical trim and a new battery pack would expect if it were 100% charged.
What do you get at 80? I get about 160 something, about 170, thereabout, you know. I've actually, I have an Air Max now, take it back in.
Okay.
They're telling me now that the battery is not performing maybe the way they expect it to.
But you do have a 1 year warranty.
But I have a 1 year warranty now.
So can you demand a brand new battery at this point? Like did you guys put in, or can you ask them if they put in?
I'm definitely going to ask them that, right? But you see, you're right. The thing is, it's a monopoly. Let me ask, right? If I go to Tesla and I say, oh no, I demand a new battery, and they say, look, dude, we can't give you one. We've done what we can with your car. What are my options?
So there are other people other than Tesla that are taking vehicles that, you know, have been bricked.
Okay.
And they are kind of essentially rebuilding them. So that could be an option, like a third party. There are a couple, you know, Rich Rebuilds has a whole channel where he does that. We actually have a guy here, I can give you his number, that has been able to rebuild some Teslas separately from Tesla. Now, Tesla doesn't love that people are doing this. I
didn't even know that. If I knew that, maybe that's where I should have gone to get my battery done.
Yeah.
Maybe it would have been better for me.
Tesla will not tell you about these people, but I definitely have talked to people too where they have had situations where their Tesla has croaked on them, and they've been able to restore it outside of Tesla. So, you know, I haven't looked at those long-term studies with them either. I don't think there is anything because all this is new.
For me right now, Tesla owes me nothing because I'm out of warranty. So it's not a situation where they say to me, oh, if a neutral party touches the car, we're not obligated to you anymore. Right now, you're not obligated to me anyway. Because you're saying to me, I'm out of warranty.
Yeah.
So if I drive in, whatever I do or whatever you have to do, I'm going to have to pay for.
Yeah. I will say I feel bad because I feel like we were the ones that were like, you should get a Tesla. We told you about the Tesla in the beginning. I didn't think that this would happen. So at the same time, I feel bad, recommending it to you.
I actually, and this is what I want us to continuously see. We're not personalizing this. If you feel bad right now, right, because you asked me, you recommended the Tesla to me, then we're personalizing it.
Yeah.
But if we look at it from the larger picture, which is you need to feel good about the fact that you recommended it to me, because now I have put it to test and we're finding out some of these things that will, make Tesla better.
Like, look at this guy. He's still like taking this positive twist on it.
True. It will make Tesla better. And then 2, it will give us rideshare people a better car.
Right.
Going forward.
It's the long term.
Long term.
But
Exactly.
for you to be able to know that like you financially hurt yourself, but look at that long term picture about the big picture of everything, that says a lot about you and your character. So it really does.
Thank you. So, and just like we said, and it's the way you're saying it is the same way I feel obligated to viewers, right? That because I know a lot of people have called me off the curve and have said to me, hey, listen, we watched the video and, what are you saying? Because we're on the verge of making a decision, and I was like, hey, go for it.
Right.
Now I could sit back here and be like, oh man, dang, I actually told all of these people to go for it and all of that. But now I'm coming back and I'm saying, yes, it's not wrong for you to have done that, but you need to now be mindful of the challenges you might have. You raised the point. Could it be incessant supercharging? And just like Kim said, give us your comments, or, put your comments out there. Let's all educate ourselves. You guys might do something, and then at the end of the day, I'd learn something from the comments that you put out there, and then it will make it better for me because I have replaced my battery already, right? So I still have the car. If I get your comments and you have a better way of elongating the battery life, I could get back on it to, go do my regular drives, but I have better understanding, and that will preserve my battery.
Right.
And then if there's anybody from Tesla, maybe you guys need to come on as well. Give us your own opinion. Tell me how much of a nitwit I was in supercharging that much. Yeah. So everybody.
I would love to see Elon respond on X to this video. That would be like my goal with like what he suggests in this situation, what he would have done differently. That would be amazing to get that response.
True,
so let's see if we can make it happen, guys.
Amen. I say amen to that. And like we say all the time, it's about every one of us, regardless of what it is. I feel like a part of the Tesla family, right? Because I have one, and I'm saying, hey, we want to make this better, so it's not about, I don't want nobody to come say, oh yeah, you know what, he's out there soliciting that he gets a refund because, no, that's not the idea. I have paid for it. I have moved on from there. I like the car. I believe it drives well. I believe the electric cars are the future, but as we go along, we would see all these hiccups.
Right.
And then we would have to take care of them as we go along. A lot of people can get turned off now and say, oh, well, because of the battery life and all of that, I'm not going to buy one. But if Tesla can come out and be visible and even say, hey, yeah, we understand that. That's why now we're asking people who are coming in that, are you buying this for rideshare or not? Because we have done something with the battery. Let them come out and tell us.
Also right now, the cost of a brand new one is almost half of what it was when you did. So if you were to buy a new one right now, get a long range, it would be a totally different situation than the situation only a year ago that you got into.
True.
So it's just, it's a lot to think about. It's a lot to think about. So let us know what you guys think in the comments below. And thank you guys so much for watching this video and sharing it with like-minded individuals so that we can start this conversation and hopefully figure out the best way to take care of our batteries and keep them running as long as possible. That's what we all want. So thank you guys so much.
Can't wait to read from you guys. Have a great day. If we already, almost like 90 to 95% convinced that it was a refurbished battery.
Yeah.
What kind of performance are you going to get from a refurbished battery that has already done 120 miles? If they're giving me a warranty for 1 year now, are they saying to me that in a year it's going to conk out? Because I did say to them, why 1 year? I would have thought that if you're bringing a new battery, right, it's replacing the old one, and then the whole whatever lifespan should be the same. But they're like, oh no, this time around we're just giving you 1 year. So that's worrisome.
That is.
That's worrisome.
I do have one more question for you. So if you could do a complete reset, say you owed nothing, start at zero again, say you're watching this video, you know what you know now, would you do it again? Would you buy a Tesla at the prices that they're at right now and do it all over again?
If Tesla can come out and guarantee me, or if someone out there can tell us how to elongate the lifespan of the battery, then I think I would. But without that, right, then it's almost like, it's just like what we're talking about now.
Yeah.
What if the 1 year warranty on it means that in 1 year it's gone? So you paid 9 G's for just a year.
You're right.
No one wants to do that, because that's just like throwing money away.
That first year when we made our first and our second video, we talked about what you had saved in terms of gas. Have you looked at that? Has it been a complete wash at this point?
I haven't looked at what it really is now, right? But that's easy to see. But however, let's just assume that I don't think it would have been much more than 8-9 G's, right? And so if that's 8-9 G's, all that savings wiped off. You know, it's wiped off with the cost of the battery, right? And then secondly, yes, you have saved that much and you have paid that into a new battery, right? But you are buying the car at a premium still. So it's almost like you're still in the negative.
Yeah.
You know, so these are reasons why, you know, like we're saying, it has to be done right.
Yeah.
You know, it has to be done right. There are too many people out there that, you know, and we don't want to start something that gives people a bad taste in their mouth, you know, for things like this. I've spoken to a couple of people who have been like, oh, well, it's not what I expected and blah, 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 you know, that kind of thing, you know. But we're not saying it's a bad car. We're just saying that it could be done better.
Yeah.
You know, so, and just like us, you know, if the manufacturers are thinking about the people, you know, then they would look at making the adjustments that it requires.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And I think that's something that they are trying to do. But again, this technology is still new. They're still trying to figure it out, and how to make the best batteries, how to keep them running the longest, how to get the maximum range out of them and charging. So that's sort of, you know, we're on the cusp of huge changes happening. Unfortunately, in your case especially, it's not there yet, and didn't work for you, which is really unfortunate. But hopefully, you know, 10 years from now, we'll look back and we'll be like, wow, Dobson helped make this change. He helped bring something and make a change in the world, which is amazing.
And that's much more than any amount of money. You know, the fact that you said something that made a difference in the world or in people's lives, you know, you can't put a price tag to that. You know, and so I just want more people out there. I actually want Tesla, you know, to also have that mindset.
So what did you name your Model 3? I'm just curious. Did you have a name ever? Never did. I feel like it needs to be like the zombie or something now that it's like been brought back to life. Something with like zombie apocalypse or something.
Let's see what happens. Since it's Halloween, that it will be going in. When he comes back with a rebirth, we might think about something. Maybe Jesus.
Exactly.
You know, if you have the abilities of Jesus, I'll be happy.
It's back from the dead.
You know, I'll be totally elated. You know, not Lazarus though, because Lazarus died again in the end. You know, so more like a Jesus thing. Live forever after you go in and get, you know, something like that.
Yeah, well, listen to your prayers.
Yeah. It'd be nice to see. You know.